Hi folks, one of the questions of the week we had here, and this is what we're going to do. We're going to start adding more and more of these questions of the week because it's all good information for people out there that are building. We get a lot of 1911 builders that come in, and they're buying all types of parts, and when you're building a 1911, it's a recipe. It's a recipe to what you're doing. So we want to make sure that the process is done, that the steps are done properly. If not, you kind of back yourself into a corner. Some guys, they're so excited about getting the gun done, they're already leaping to the finishing sections of getting the gun done, and we still need to do all the blending and all this other stuff. So to really do a nice professional job of your build and make it your dream gun, the one that you really want, we're going to go over a lot of these questions that people are feeding in here because it seems to help everyone as a community here. So today's question was Bob, I want a new slide on my 1911 and have it engraved. Should I have the engraving done first? And that is no. Okay, absolutely no. A lot of people will buy a slide, it's not fitted to their pistol yet, and then they'll want to send it out for engraving and all this other stuff. Again, it's all about process. It's all about process. Can you do that? Yes, you can. Okay, but it would be a bad process. Okay, so what do you want to do when you're going to have your slide engraved? Okay, well, number one, you want to get that slide in and fit it to your 1911. Make sure that the frame, rail, barrel fit, bushing fit, all those things are the way you want it. Once you get those things done, make sure it's not interfering with your ejector, all those little things that you want to check for. Then you're going to want to do your blending, okay? And that sometimes, people are they're not real fussy about it. Other people are real fussy about it. Other people, they don't want to see the ejector hanging off the back of the frame. They want the ejector and the extractor and everything all blended in, into the assembly so everything looks smooth and done nicely. So those are things that we'll do first. We'll end up fitting, locking up the pistol, even test firing it in the raw, and then go ahead and start doing all the blending. If the customer wants dehorning done to the slide and frame and the rest of the parts, so we'll get all that finished, and then what we'll consider is, okay, what's next? What does the customer going to do for finish? Is it going to be a spray-on style finish? Is it going to be our nitro carburizing, our black shield nitro carburizing, an ion bond finish? There's so many black oxide. There's so many different finishes that are out there. Chrome, hard chrome. So we'll look at what finish that the customer is going to want when it's completed, and then make the decision of what's the next process. For most of the processes, when I'm going to have a slide engraved, I like to have everything fitted, of course, blended and all that. My next thing I'll do is usually blast the slide total out in a matte finish, and then I'll actually put it on our surface grinder, and I'll do grinding on the sides of the slide to make sure that the engraver has a nice flat profile to work with. So people say, well, aren't the slides flat to begin with? Most are, some are pathetic. I've worked on some this year, some different slides that are just so twisted and bent that when they come in, that you're almost grinding the cocking serrations off totally before you even get a flat profile on the side of the slide, which 20 years ago you'd never see that. Most people would try to keep the sides quite parallel, at least to say under 4 thousandths or so. Now I'm seeing slides coming in here from a lot of manufacturers that are just pathetic. I mean, you're lucky if they're 20 thousandths in parallel. Which on certain cocking serrations you're going to wipe out your cocking serration. So again, I got to look at that when it comes in and assess it and every job is assessed individually. But I like to have the sides surface ground, so they're nice and flat for the engraver. And then, you know, you got to think of what type of engraving are you going to have. Is it hand engraving, where a guy's going to sit there with a hammer and chisel and engrave it all? Or is it going to be laser engraving, etching? You know, there's a bunch of different processes out there. Certain engraving, you'll apply the finish, like a lot of laser engraving, finish will be applied prior to, and then the laser engraving will be done after the finish is applied. On generally hand engraving, the finish will be applied for the last step, okay? And generally when you're hand engraving, because they're usually not going very deep, you're going to have a delicate finish, okay? You're going to have either a very light strike of chrome, you're going to have a very light black oxide finish is usually preferred, things of that nature. You know, you can do all types of engraving, but then if you spray Cerakote over it and everything, you're going to lose all your detail. So again, process and think about how you want to get there to have your finished product done. So again, if you guys have any questions or anything, feel free to put it down in the comments below.